Payday arrives at 9 in the morning. By 9 that evening, almost all of it is already spoken for. Rent takes its share, then the car takes its share, then the card from last month takes what is left. You are not careless, you are not bad with money, and you still finish the month at 0 without ever seeing the moment it happened. I am Monty. I have spent 40 years watching how money moves through a household, and this is the trap I am asked about more than any other. So here is what I am going to hand you. Why cutting back keeps failing, what is actually draining your month, and the exact size of the fix, so you can stop guessing at it. If someone has told you the answer is simply more discipline, they handed you the wrong problem to solve. And this is Junior. Junior earns a fair wage and tracks every expense he makes, and he still lands at 0 on the 28th of every month. So Junior did what everybody does. He cancelled 2 subscriptions, he stopped buying coffee out, and he packed his lunch for a month. And it worked. For exactly 1 month. He finished $31 ahead. He felt the relief. And then the next month arrived, and swallowed all of it and more. Here is the part that stings. Junior had not slipped at all, and his spending was very nearly identical. What changed was the money coming in, because a paycheck is not a flat line. We talk about income as a fixed number that arrives on schedule. For most people, it is nothing of the kind. Cutting back is not useless. It is just far too small a lever for what is actually moving underneath you. So let me show you what is actually moving. This is the leak nobody ever points at. It sounds strange to blame your income when your income never changed on paper. But paper is not where you live. You are taught that a budget fails because the person using it failed. It does not. A budget fails because it was built for a paycheck that holds still. The JPMorgan Chase Institute went looking for exactly this. They studied 6 million families' accounts, month by month, for 6 straight years. Real deposits, not a survey. Here is what they found. A family with a typical amount of movement in their income sees it change by 36% from 1 month to the next. That is 36% in a life where the rent never moves at all, and the large swings, the months that run more than a quarter above or below your normal, hit the average family in 5 months of every year. So think of your income as a tide, not a tap. You have been budgeting as though the water arrives at the same level every day. It does not. It comes in high, then it goes out low, and that low month is when your careful plan breaks, through no fault of your own. So the enemy here is not your spending. The enemy is the gap between an income that moves and a set of bills that refuses to. Which brings us to the fix, and to the one number almost nobody gets told. You would expect the answer to be a percentage. Save 10%, save 20. That is the standard advice, and for this problem, it is the wrong unit entirely. You have not been failing at saving. You have been measuring it in the wrong thing. The same researchers worked out what it actually takes to survive 1 bad month, an income dip, and a large expense landing in the same few weeks, which is exactly how it happens. The answer was not a percentage at all. It was 6 weeks of take-home pay, sitting in cash. For a middle-income family, that comes to roughly $5,000. Not $5,000 saved forever. $5,000 standing between you and the month that goes wrong. And 65% of families do not have it. That is not a moral failure spread across 2/3 of a country. That is a design flaw in the advice they were given. So 6 weeks is the target, and you can finally aim at something real, which leaves one honest question. Where does 6 weeks of pay come from, when the entire problem is that there is never anything left over? The obvious answer is to squeeze it out of the tight months. That is the answer that already failed you once. You were taught to save whatever is left at the end. The people who get out of this do the opposite. They save whatever is extra. Go back to that same research, because it left one detail sitting there that changes everything. Income spikes are twice as likely as income dips. They are twice as likely. You are not only having bad months, you are having good ones, more of them, and they cluster in March and in December. It shows up as overtime, or a bonus, or a tax refund, or the 3rd paycheck in a 5-week month. that money already arrives. It just arrives feeling like a reward, so it gets spent like one, and by the time the low month comes, it is long gone. So Junior stopped trying to save from the lean months entirely. He set one rule instead. Anything above a normal month never gets spent. It goes straight into the buffer the same day it lands, before it ever feels like his. It took him 14 months. It was not thrilling to watch, but he crossed 6 weeks, and the month that went wrong finally stopped being an emergency. And last year, the Federal Reserve published something that reads like a summary of this whole video. Among the people who always have money left at the end of the month, 86% have 3 months of savings put away. Among the people who never do, 13%. That is a very wide gap. And it is not a gap in character. Junior never became more disciplined than you are. He simply stopped defending a plan against a tide and started catching the water while it was high. The money that fixes your month is already coming. It has been arriving all year. Nobody ever told you to catch it. Want to learn more? Check the channel, drop a like, and subscribe.